Okay, so get this. You're an Apollo astronaut. You just finished a moonwalk climb out of the lunar module, and bam, you're hit with this smell.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not flowers or fresh air or anything like that.
Oh,
It's burnt gunpowder.
that's moon dust.
Moon dust smells like burnt gunpowder.
Yep, it's true, and that's what we're diving into today.
Scent of the
We're
moon.
using this paper here.
Lunar dust. And it's enigmatic aroma.
It's really fascinating.
Because it makes you think about space.
Yeah.
You know, we think about the visuals,
Yeah.
all the amazing pictures.
Yeah.
But this is a sensory experience.
That
Like,
girl.
what does another world smell like?
Makes it a lot more tangible, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure. So, okay, picture this. Apollo astronauts, they're coming back from moonwalks, covered in this dust, and they start noticing this weird smell
Yeah, clinging to their suits.
to their equipment. And it's not just any ordinary dirt, right? On the moon, there's no weather.
Right.
No wind, no rain, no water to cause erosion.
Like we have here, exactly like on Earth. Instead, it's this constant bombardment
Oh, yeah.
of micrometeorites.
Wow.
And solar wind, this process we call space weathering.
Space weathering. Okay.
Yeah, it's wild. And this creates this really unique dust
Right.
filled with these super tiny particles, some containing what we call nanophase iron.
Nanophase iron. Now that sounds complicated.
It is a bit technical, but stay with me.
Okay, I'm listening.
It's basically iron that's been changed
Okay.
at the atomic level
Right.
by the harshness of space.
So billions of years
Billions of years
of radiation.
impact the whole 9 yards.
Okay, so hold on. This nanophase iron, it's just kind of hanging out on the moon, doing its thing.
It's dormant.
Dormant. Okay.
But when that lunar dust is brought back to Earth
Okay.
and it interacts with oxygen
Here we go.
and moisture, it reacts.
Oh, wow. So it's almost like the moon dust is waking up when it hits our atmosphere.
You could think of it that way. It's undergoing a chemical reaction.
Okay.
It's not so much waking up as it is like,
Yeah.
it's finally able
Do
to.
its thing.
Exactly. And that nanophase iron
Okay.
becomes reactive.
Got it.
And it produces these volatile compounds
Oh.
that give off that distinct burnt gunpowder smell. Or some people say seared steak.
Seared steak. Wow. Okay, wait. So every time we smell moon dust, we're smelling billions of years of lunar history.
In a way, yes.
That's incredible.
The smell comes from those volatile compounds.
Right.
Which are a direct result of how nanophase iron formed over eons.
Over eons of space weathering.
Right. It's like a time capsule.
Wow.
Gives us insights into the impacts.
The radiation.
Everything the moon has gone through.
Okay, you mentioned volatile compounds before.
Yeah.
And I gotta admit, I'm not a chemist.
Sure.
Break it down for me.
Okay, so think of volatile compounds as substances that easily evaporate.
Like into the air.
Exactly, into the air. And when they do, they release molecules.
Okay.
And our noses pick those up as scents.
Okay.
So in the case of moon dust,
Mm-hmm.
the nanophase iron reacts with oxygen
Right.
and moisture,
Uh-huh.
produces specific volatiles, like sulfides, for example.
Sulfides.
And those give off that characteristic burnt smell.
Wow. Okay, so it's not just the dust itself.
Right.
It's the fact that it's coming into contact with our Earth environment that creates this smell.
Exactly.
Huh. It makes you wonder what other properties of moon dust change when it's brought to Earth.
That's a great question.
Yeah,
And one that researchers are really digging into.
I bet.
For example, we know moon dust is electrostatically charged
Whoa.
from all that solar wind exposure.
Right.
How that charge behaves in Earth's atmosphere, what effects it might have,
Who knows?
still being studied.
So fascinating. It's like bringing a piece of the moon back to Earth isn't just about the physical sample. It's about how it interacts with everything here.
Precisely. And while the smell is definitely captivating,
Yeah.
it also hints at some potential challenges for long-term lunar exploration.
Challenges, you mean like how are we going to get that smell out of the spacesuits?
Well, that might be a small concern,
Oh.
but I'm talking about bigger picture stuff.
Okay.
The properties of moon dust that could affect our equipment and even astronaut health.
Oh, that's not good.
Remember, we're dealing with extremely fine abrasive particles that have been bombarded by radiation for billions of years.
Yeah, I'm starting to see the problem.
So it's not just a quirky souvenir, this lunar perfume.
Right.
It's a warning sign.
Oh, okay, scary.
And next time we'll dive into the specific dangers this moon dust presents and what researchers are doing to overcome them.
Okay, can't wait.
Should be interesting.
So stay tuned.
We'll be right back.
So we were talking about this nanophase iron and how it reacts with oxygen to make moon dust smell like burnt gunpowder when it comes to Earth.
Right.
And you were saying this poses some serious challenges
Oh, yeah.
for future lunar missions.
Definitely, for sure.
So can you elaborate on that a little?
Yeah, absolutely. So moon dust, as fascinating as it is, it really does present a lot of concerns
Okay.
for both equipment and,
Right.
human health, astronaut health.
Exactly, astronaut health. So imagine this incredibly fine,
Okay.
sharp particles,
Uh-huh.
electrostatically charged.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned that.
And they've been exposed to radiation
For billions of years.
for eons. Yeah.
Okay, so paint me a picture here.
Okay.
How does this affect equipment?
Well, so for starters, these tiny particles,
Yeah.
they can work their way into machinery,
Oh.
clogging up delicate systems, degrading seals.
So
Like, think about all the moving parts in a lunar rover.
okay.
A habitat, scientific instruments.
Right.
Moon dust can really cause a lot of wear and tear,
Yeah.
leading to malfunction.
So it's like sand in a clock,
Yeah,
but lunar scale.
exactly. Exactly.
And what about the electrostatic charge?
Right, you mentioned that.
Yeah.
What kind of problems does that cause?
So that's something that scientists are still trying to wrap their heads around.
Really?
But we do know that lunar dust can cling to surfaces
Okay.
because of that static charge. Makes it super difficult to remove
I can imagine.
and could even interfere with electrical systems.
Oh, wow. That's a nightmare
It's a big challenge.
for those engineers
Absolutely. A huge challenge for engineers designing equipment.
to survive.
Yeah, to withstand that lunar environment.
So are there any solutions?
Yeah, there's some really smart people working on this.
That's good.
Some researchers are experimenting with materials
Okay.
that naturally repel dust
Oh, cool.
or coatings that reduce that static cling.
Okay.
Others are developing really advanced filtration systems
Okay.
to keep dust out of habitats
Out of the vehicles.
and the vehicles and everything.
Seems like we're trying to outsmart
It's a constant battle.
the dust.
It is an arms race, for sure.
But what about the astronauts themselves?
Right.
You said there are health risks.
Absolutely.
So what are we talking about?
So inhaling moon dust,
Yeah.
that's a major concern.
Okay.
These particles are so fine,
Right.
they can get deep down into the lungs,
Right.
cause respiratory problems,
Okay.
potentially even long-term damage.
So like here on Earth, we
Right.
have smog, we have
Like
pollutants.
industrial pollutants, all that.
Storm dust is like a whole other...
It's a whole other level.
Yeah.
And you have to remember the Apollo missions.
Right.
They were pretty short.
Yeah, they were there for a few days.
Right, exactly. As we're looking towards these long-term
Yeah, lunar.
habitats, exactly, the risks just go up.
Right. So how are scientists addressing these risks?
Yeah, so there's ongoing research into more effective dust mitigation systems
For habitats.
for the habitats, for sure,
Okay.
including, advanced air filtration,
Right.
cleaning technologies
Got it.
for suches, new materials and designs,
Okay.
trying to minimize that dust infiltration.
Interesting.
And there's even talk of
I like this.
creating a lunar vacuum to remove dust from suits
That's so cool.
before astronauts enter the habitats.
Wow.
So yeah, lots of ideas.
It's crazy to think that something like dust
Right.
is so...
Unpromatic.
Yeah, it's so complex.
It is. It really is.
I guess that's exploration for you.
That's what it's all about.
Pushing boundaries.
Pushing boundaries, finding new environments.
And adapting.
Exactly, and adapting to them.
So this lunar perfume,
Right.
it's not just a quirky souvenir.
No, it's not.
It's a warning sign.
It's a warning sign for sure.
We need to be careful.
Absolutely, we need to respect it.
And it really makes you think about the Apollo astronauts.
Yeah.
They were dealing with all of this.
All of this and more.
And they were the first ones?
They were the pioneers.
On the moon, it must have been.
An intense experience.
Yeah.
Unforgettable, for sure.
And their accounts, like their descriptions of the smell,
Yeah.
have paved the way.
Absolutely. They're the foundation.
For us to understand the moon.
Right, they're the ones who gave us our first glimpse.
And now we're building on their legacy.
Exactly. We're taking what they learned
To prepare for this new era.
of lunar exploration.
We've talked a lot about the challenges
Yeah.
of moon dust, but are there any benefits?
That's a great question.
Like, could we use it for something?
Surprisingly, yes.
Really?
There are some potential uses
Okay, tell me more.
researchers are looking into.
Okay.
So for one, moon dust could be a source of valuable resources.
Okay.
It contains elements like helium-3,
Helium-3.
which is very rare on Earth,
Okay.
but potentially really useful for future fusion energy.
So moon dust could be a fuel source.
It's possible. It's still early days.
Wow.
but the possibilities are there.
That's so cool.
And there's also research into using moon dust as a building material.
Like for
lunar structures.
For like a moon base.
Exactly. Moon bases roads. It's abundant.
It's everything.
It's readily available.
And the properties could be useful.
Yeah, for construction in that low-gravity environment.
So we've come full circle here.
We have.
We started with this fascinating smell. And then we looked at all the challenges. And now we're finding out it could hold the key.
To the future.
To the future.
Yeah, to future technologies and resources.
That's incredible.
It really shows how complex and interconnected science is.
Yeah.
We're constantly learning.
We're adapting.
We're adapting and finding new ways to understand and use the resources around us.
Even the ones in the most unexpected places.
Exactly. Even moon dust.
Okay, well, I think we need to take a break here.
Yeah.
Reflect on everything we've learned about moon dust.
It's been a lot.
But don't go away.
Stay with us.
We'll be right back.
To wrap up our deep dive.
And explore what this all means for the future.
Of space exploration.
And we're back, folks. Still diving deep into the mysteries of moon dust.
Still here?
So much to unpack.
There is.
We've gone from the weird smell to the dangers it poses.
Right.
Even some surprising benefits.
Yeah, who knew?
So what really stands out to you from all this?
I think for me it's this reminder that even something as basic as dust can have these huge implications.
Yeah, we tend to focus on the big picture of space.
Yeah, the rockets, the lunar rovers.
All that cool stuff.
Exactly. But it's those tiny details that can really make or break a mission.
It's true. It's like we've been using a microscope on the moon.
Yeah, the powerful one.
Zooming in on these little particles.
And finding a whole world of information.
Yeah, and it's not just the scientific knowledge. It's how it changes the way we think about exploring.
Exactly.
Moon dust forces us to be resourceful.
Adaptable.
Yeah, to think outside the box.
To come up with creative solutions.
For problems we didn't even know existed.
Exactly, and that's what makes it so exciting.
Reminds me of that quote about space exploration being hard.
But worth it.
Exactly. We're not going to the moon for a vacation.
No, we're pushing the limits.
Of what's possible.
And that means facing challenges.
Head on, and those challenges.
Push us to innovate.
Right? Like figuring out how to deal with moon dust.
It's leading to all these new technologies, new ways of thinking about design.
Engineering.
Shebang.
So these tiny dust particles, they're actually making us better explorers.
I think so. Yeah, they're forcing us to think differently.
To really consider every single aspect.
Of that lunar environment.
How it affects us.
How it affects our tech.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what other things on the moon.
Oh, I'm sure there's more.
Might surprise us.
Definitely stuff we haven't even thought of yet.
Maybe there's a sound moon dust makes.
A lunar hum.
That our instruments can't pick up yet.
Or maybe we can harness that electrostatic charge.
For something we haven't even imagined.
The possibilities are endless.
It's like the moon dust is trying to tell us something.
Whispering secrets.
And we're just starting to understand.
It's a whole new language.
And as we learn more,
we'll uncover more knowledge.
More reasons to keep exploring.
It's a journey of discovery.
And now this deep dive has really opened my eyes.
I'd say your nose, too.
That's true. Moon dust isn't just a nuisance.
It's a goldmine of information.
A source of inspiration.
A reminder that the smallest things
have the biggest impact
on how we see the universe.
Well said. So next time you look up at the moon,
think about those tiny particles
dancing in the sunlight,
holding billions of years of history.
And maybe the key to our future in space.
Who knows what we'll find next?
That's the beauty of it.
The adventure continues.
Thanks for joining us on this lunar adventure.
It's been a pleasure.
And until next time,